that can't be true. You know, English is already complex enough. And it's
Yeah.
true, it is a little bit more complex because the times change. You know, the tenses change. In English,
Mm,
if I do anything in the past, it's basically you add ed. You know, I brushed my teeth. I well, I was gonna say I ate, but that one's a different one. But you
mm-hmm.
know, I ran. No, there's several that change too. I guess in English, um, but in Spanish, all of them change.
Okay, it's like French because in French there are too many tenses in French.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't really sometimes you can't differentiate between them and when you have to use one of them. It's very
Hmm.
confusing. Okay, okay. What's your thought on teaching languages? What is the best way to teach a language to kids?
That's a great question. I would say, to be honest, not only with children but adults too. I read
Mhm,
something that was a study done by Harvard University, and this study said the best way for a person to learn a second language is the same way
mhm.
they learn their first language.
Yes,
So imagine when you're a baby, when you were little, when you were first learning. Is Arabic your first language?
Arabic. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were first learning Arabic, when I was first learning English, when I was first learning Spanish, which I feel thankful for, because I learned both of them in the same order. First, it was listening.
Hmm.
First.
First,
Second, it was speaking.
okay,
Third, it was reading. And then fourth, it was writing.
okay.
And
I
and
think,
when I
and the more you listen, the more you speak, and the more you
exactly.
read, the more you write. Is this a correct
Yes,
rule?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Yeah.
But for me, it really stands out. You know, the more you listen, the more you can understand the language, the more you can imitate it, the more you can practice it, the more you can speak it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Of course. And
Hmm.
that's not what we are doing in our educational system because we've been taught like grammar first and reading, but not really much, uh, speaking.
It's
We didn't get
unfortunate.
the chance to speak French, in school.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people, don't like master the French language, even though we've been learning it from, I think, for maybe up to 20 years,
Wow.
and still there are some people that can't really speak English because they always teach us grammar and bunch of other things, but it's not really
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
effective way to teach a language because we need communication because when you go outside looking for a job and it's very essential that you have to do an interview with your employer and since you don't really get the chance to speak a lot so you got some problems you got
Yes.
blocked in the way.
Yeah, I would say not just for finding a job, but to be honest, I really do hope if I could have some impact on the way that people are learning the language. I got to take this study. I read this a couple years ago. It was like 2019. I read that study from Harvard. And I guess
Hmm.
because they're a well-known university around the world, you know,
Yeah.
it's easier to say it's not just my opinion, it's not just what I believe, it's not just the way that I learn my two languages, and that's why I believe I'm also fluent in those two languages today.
Hmm. Hmm.
But it's because they did this study, they did this research. When I saw this study, I said, to me, it made so much sense. It made all the sense in the world
Hmm.
because I learned my two languages in that order,
Hmm. Yeah.
and not actually not how do I want to say, not one and then the other. I learned how to listen, how to speak in Spanish first, how to listen, how to speak in English, then how to read, and then how to write in English, and then how to read,
Hmm.
and then how to write in Spanish. So it wasn't like I
Hmm.
learned one in order and then the other one in the order. I learned them,
Okay.
but both in that order. Uh huh.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Like you mean this? Okay. Yeah. All right. That's very interesting, actually.
Yeah. So if
So
there's
it's
an
like.
impact that I could have in like the language teaching, language learning area, I want to share about that study because, like I said, it wouldn't be just my opinion. It's a study that Harvard University did, and then also add that I learned my two languages in that order, and that's why I feel I'm fluent in both of them.